I don't believe our guests tonight are unknown to any of you, but I'm going to take just a moment to introduce them briefly in case you haven't met them. They've been to our church before, and God willing, I pray they will return again. We're trying to get them addicted to sweet tea. Lieutenant General Jerry Boykin was one of the original members of Delta Force. He later led that elite unit. In fact, at one time, he was in charge of all the Green Berets. He served our country with excellence, but what I have come to value the most in his life and his heart is the remarkable faith he has in Jesus Christ and the incredible love he has for our country. So help me welcome Lieutenant General Jerry Boykin. Come on. Lieutenant Colonel Oliver North is a combat decorated Marine. I first got to know him, and it felt personal to me on the TV screen during the Iran-Contra thing. You're all too young for that. But I was amazed at his composure under that intense scrutiny. He was the first person I ever heard say out loud in public that Osama bin Laden was a threat to our nation. He was a prophet, but he's a man of faith and a man of integrity who has served our country. Help me welcome Lieutenant Colonel Oliver North. They're pretty fired up. Those people sitting on that hill way far away, it's not Calvary. There's actually another screen there so they can see and hear. We're going to do this a little differently tonight. If you've been around church some, we're going to do this a little bit more like an interview. I'm really just going to lob them some softballs and try to stay out of their way.
All right. Call hello. Yahweh Bashim Yahushai, Bashim Chahudash. The ones that apostles of great millstone. That show up 2 brothers in the highways and byways when the works of sin and faithfully and continually fighting that good fight of faith. Lord, when we are found in that number. And also, shalom to you sisters out there who truly believe and trust in the name of Yahweh Bashim Yahushai. All right. So the intro is a little long, but to keep it, kind of consistent, the main focus here is going to be on Lieutenant Colonel Oliver North. All right. And a lot of you probably don't know who he is, but I've done, lessons on this guy before in the past. And Spirit had me kind of go back into it again because of the time that we're living in and the shit that's going to be going down. All right. So before I get into it, just want to speak about how this dude here kind of, introduced Lieutenant Colonel Oliver North. All right. Gives us a big spiel about his military history and he's a Marine and, the Iran-Contra there. Now, I remember that. And I remember watching that back in the 80s. And I was pulling for the dude, to be totally honest with you. And the dude was right. The dude North was up there with confidence and, stern and not folding. We're going to play a clip from that. But now that I've become much wiser through the spirit of Yahweh Bashim Yahushai, I know this man is nothing but a demon. Okay? So he goes on to mention that he was a prophet, and how much he loves the Lord, as they say, Jesus Christ. Well, let's take a little look into the history of who he really is and what he does and what he did. All right. So this is concerning Oliver North. So we're gonna leave here and let's go here. Okay. It's an article, UPI Archives. It says Lieutenant Colonel Oliver North helped write a plan. Okay, Miami. Lieutenant Colonel Oliver North helped write a plan in 1982 to suspend the Constitution and place the country under martial law in the event of a national crisis. The Miami Herald reported. Says the plan outlined in a June 30, 1982 memo obtained by the Herald was a revised version of the contingency plans for dealing with nuclear war, insurrections, or military mobilization, the newspaper reported in its Saturday edition. All right. Now, this is the time when we're in that time period now. We weren't in that time period back in 82. So many people didn't think twice about it. But now you got to keep your eyes open, because now the time is here concerning what? Nuclear war, insurrection, or military immobilization, martial law. Now we're in that time period. You know? Continuing on. It proposed a scenario calling for a suspension of the Constitution, turning control of the United States over to the Federal Emergency Management Agency, appointment of military commanders to run state and local governments, and declaration of martial law. Okay? North, who was assigned to the National Security Council in late 1981, was FEMA's contact with the NSC and helped the agency draw up the plan in the Herald. Shlaki, draw up the plan, the Herald reports. Let me get my glasses on. Okay, that's better. I say, should I need, let me see. I mean, I can go on and on, but you get the gist of what's going on. So this dude, Lieutenant Colonel Oliver North, was one of the main key writers of what we know as to be now Rex 84. Okay? So it doesn't stop there, though. It doesn't stop there. So let's look a little deeper. Okay? So Rex 84 then turns into... No, that's not what we want. Rex 84 then turns into this. The King Alfred Plan. Okay? And how do we know that? Let's just go one step. Oh, dag. I think I done took the damn thing out. Bear with me for 1 second. Let me see, what should I go to? Alright, bear with me for 1 second. Alright, Shlaki. Had to dig this back up. Alright. So as I was saying, the King Alfred Plan. Alright. Now, the King Alfred Plan is what's actually the plan. But it's under code name of Rex 84. Okay? And who was one of the head writers of this plan? Lieutenant Colonel Oliver North. Right? So you can barely see it because it's on a PDF file. But let me see. Let me go back. Let's go back to here. All right. So that was just to show you that the King Alfred Plan and Rex 84 are one and the same. There's no difference. And that document showed you at the head of the document, the King Alfred Plan, codename Rex 84. So let's read a little about King Alfred, the plan. It says blacks to be exterminated. Okay, you are about to read information extracted from the U.S. Library of Congress by researchers residing in Ohio, Pennsylvania, and California. Due to the sinister objectives outlined in the data disclosure to the black and Hispanic communities, okay, and this is exactly who they're hunting: the northern and southern kingdom, the children of Israel. Now, keep in mind now. Let me flip back here. Keep in mind, this dude.
But I want to plant a.
Where's he at? Let me
So
get
I've
that
been-
devil up. That dude all over north right there to the far left. Him.
I've also come to the conclusion that one of the most important things that we can be is people who understand how important the company we keep is to who we become. And so I just
You see, that's him right there. That's all over north. Okay, he was one of the head orchestrators, if you will, or writers concerning Rex 84 or King Alfred, however which one you want to call it. Okay, reading on, it says this data is accessible for verification and has been abridged due to space constraints. Now let's read a little bit deeper. It says a new government plan was developed by the National Security Council. Now, who was the head of the National Security Council? Oliver North. Okay? Between the years of 1960 and 1964, it is called King Alfred Plan. The plan details the encampment and extermination of 22 million blacks. U.S. Census count for 1970. All right. Now, if you remember these past couple of years, Esau has been pushing heavy on the census, even so much to the point where they was going around making commercials with only black people, talking about, yeah, get hip, get the census. It's gonna help our community when it comes to funding from the government, which was all bullshit. Okay. They want to know how many niggas are in a household so they know exactly how many bullets to bring when it comes time to clean you up. Now this page might get zapped because of this information, but if one or two brothers get a hold of it before it gets zapped, then may the Lord prosper the word through the other brothers and push it out there. Okay, continuing on. It says, the U.S. Census of 1970, it has been solidified by Reagan under Mr. Louis Giuffrida, okay, ex-director of the Federal Emergency Management Agency. Okay, so once again, all these devils were in cahoots with this, man. And this, what scripture comes to mind is Psalms 83, that crafty counsel. Okay. It says, the plan is under the control of FEMA and had been secured under Executive Orders 11490, 11221, 148, and amended under National Security #52, aka Rex 84, as of April 6, 1984. Okay. So, I think I skipped a line. I did. So let me go back up to the top. I don't know if I read this. Yeah, I did read it. And I'll read it again though. It says King Alfred Plan. The plan details the encampment and extermination of 22 million blacks, man. 22 million. Along with the Northern Kingdom. Okay? So this whole plan and agenda is put forth by a lot of these, individuals who you don't see, you don't hear about, but it just so happens that Lieutenant Colonel Oliver North, okay, has been put on the forefront at a point in time. Now I'm gonna play for you the clip from the Iran-Contra affair, all right, where Congressman Jack Brooks was starting to ask Lieutenant Colonel Oliver North about Rex 84. All right, I'm not gonna read it. I'm just gonna go play it, but just check out the mannerism of Oliver North. Just check it out. Watch how you'll see it. Just check it out.
Colonel North, in your work at the NSC, were you not assigned at one time to work on plans for the continuity of government in the event of a major disaster? Mr. Chairman.
I believe that question touches upon a highly sensitive and classified area, so may I request that you not touch upon that, sir.
I was particularly concerned, Mr. Chairman, because I read in Miami papers and several others that there had been a plan developed by that same agency, a contingency plan in the event of emergency that would suspend the American Constitution. And I was deeply concerned about it and wondering if that was the area in which he had worked. I believe that it was.
May I most respectfully request that that matter not be touched upon at this stage. If we wish to get into this, I'm certain arrangements can be made for an executive session.
And I believe that was a Moabite up there talking. But you see how the crafty counsel, all right? So here you have these Congress people who are, supposedly putting the screws to Oliver North for some of the shit that he was involved in. But on the flip side, they're protecting him as well. All right? So as the scripture says, man, never trust thy enemy. And all these other nations, they are our enemy. They're against us. And it proves and it shows. Okay? Let me get a couple scriptures. This is Isaiah 10:1. It says, woe unto them that decree unrighteous decrees, and that write grievances which they have prescribed. Okay? To sit there and say that you're looking to exterminate 22 million so-called black people, that's an unrighteous decree, man. But then on the flip side, you have this devil running his chops about how much he loves the Lord.
Just very quickly,
let's listen to this
tell
for
you
a second.
Story about my experience in coming to know who Jesus Christ is in a very personal way because of a fellow Marine. I just happened to be, and I don't believe in coincidence, okay? In fact, he and I know that there is no such thing as coincidence. And there's no such thing as luck. So it just happened that I got assigned to Headquarters Marine Corps in 1975, and my desk was right next to a true American hero, a highly decorated war hero, who is a graduate of West Point. I'm a graduate of the Naval Academy. It's very unusual to have a West Point graduate. There's only a handful of them who became Marine officers, and John Southey Grinnells from Georgia was one of them. He was well known as a hero. He's been a Rhodes Scholar, a White House Fellow, had an MBA from Harvard. I had none of those. And John Grinnell's desk was right on the other side of mine in a little partition at Headquarters Marine Corps. Just happened that way. And John Grinnell's was known as a great intellectual. The Commandant of the Marine Corps would ask, if you carried a document into him, what does Grinnell's think? And our Commandant of the Marine Corps at the time was...
Nah, I ain't for that shit. He's going to talk about how he, gave his life over to Jesus Christ, as they call him. Be that as it may, this is the same man that is put into play, your demise, right? So don't think for 1 minute that this King Alfred plan or Rex 84 is dust in the wind. Okay? Like I said earlier in the lesson, it wasn't time back in 84, 83 for the shit to be going down. Now is the time. Now they're gonna put the ball in motion with these plans that they got. Okay? So it's very important that you understand and identify who the key players are. You know, at the end of the day, the Lord's going to wipe everybody out anyway. But the scriptures speak about be not ignorant in any small matter. Okay? So this is who Lieutenant Colonel Oliver North is. This is the guy who now sits in a church talking to, you know, so-called churchgoers, who I'm sure there are some Jakes probably in this church. But little do they know, he wrote and put together the contingency plan or the continuity of government and the extermination of so-called black people and so-called Puerto Rican people, Native Hispanic people. He put that in, he put pen to paper, and it was passed, you know, through Congress with the approval of President then Ronald Reagan. So you think these guys are just putting laws and legislation together for no goddamn reason? You out of your mind, man. They're about to push this thing. And this is why we know the time of Jacob's trouble is nigh at hand, man. All right? Continuing on. It says, his bones, Job 20:11, his bones are full of the sin of his youth, which shall lie down with him in the dust. Right. So back when Oliver North was a young man writing all these unrighteous decrees, and now you see him as an old man talking about his military accomplishments, his love for the Lord and finding Jesus Christ, and, you know, talking about we need to understand one another. See, this is what happens when these devils get older. Okay? They put that facade on as if, yeah, you know, look at me. You know, I love the Lord, which is bullshit. Excuse my language. I'm pissed off. All right? So the scriptures say his bones are full of the sin of his youth. He hasn't changed. Just like a leopard can't change his spots, neither can the wicked, you know, change the dirty deeds that they have instilled within them. Okay? From there, Isaiah 29:15. Woe unto them that seek deep to hide their counsel from the Lord. Right. You got King Alfred plan, code name Rex 84. You see? And all this is just to throw people off. That's all that is. When you got a code name something, you just don't want people to know. You know? Like when they did, like when Esau brought those German scientists over here. Operation Paperclip. Esau always got some shit to hide, man. And it says, and their works are in the dark, and they say, who seeth us, and who knoweth us? Right. Because right now, how many people are talking about Rex 84? How many people are talking about King Alfred plan? Nobody. Because these works were in the dark, if you will. Nobody's talking about it. Nobody knows about it. Nobody's talking about it. And nobody even gives a goddamn about it, tell you the truth. Except those, we of the hopeful elect, and those that believe in this thing. Okay? So I'm going to end it with this quick, I believe it's about a 2-minute clip. Yeah, we solved that. Yeah. I'm going to end it with this clip here.
It's 1972, an election year, and once again, black people are running for their lives. Reasons are things like the King Alfred plan, the concentration camps that were used during the Second World War to house Oriental Americans are now being refurbished to confine their new residents, i.e. black people. Brothers and sisters, there is a place for you in America. This is the King Alfred Plan. Ha! Brothers and sisters, there is a place for you in America. Places are being prepared and ready night and day, night and day. The white boy's plan is being ready night and day, night and day. Listen close to what raps say about traps like Allenwood, PA. Already legal in D.C. to preventively detain you and me. How long you think it's going to be before even our dreams ain't free? You think I exaggerate? Check out Allenwood, PA, night and day, night and day. The white boy is scheming night and day. The Jews and Hitler come to mind, the thought of slavery far behind, but white paranoia's here to stay. The white boy scheming night and day. What you think about the King Alfred Plan? You ain't heard? Where you been, man? If I may paraphrase, the government notice reads, should there at any time become a clear and present danger initiated by any radical element threatening the operations of the government of the United States of America, members of this radical element shall be transported to detention centers until such time as their threat has been eliminated. Code King Alfred. Bullshit, I bet you say. There ain't no Allenwood, PA, and people ain't waiting night and day, night and day, night and day. There will be, without the Motown sound and Thunderbird wallowing in the echoes of Malcolm's words, there must be black unity. There must be black unity, for in the end, unity will be thrust upon us, and we upon it and each other. Locked in cages, pins, hemmed in, shoulder to shoulder, arms outstretched for just a crust of bread, watermelon mirages, an oasis that does not exist, conjured up by the bubbling stench, unwashed bodies and unsanitary quarters, concrete and barbed wire, babies screaming, stumbling around in a mental circle because you never cared enough to be black. In the end, unity will be thrust upon us, blanketed, stifled, a salty taste in your mouth from blood oozing from cracks in woolly heads, red pools becoming thicker than syrup, slow down your face, birds matted by the life force, sprung loose from wells, well deep by the enforcers of mock justice of the red, white, and blue. In the end, unity will be thrust upon us. Let us unite because of love and not hate. Let us unite on our own and not because of barbed wire death. You dare not ignore the things I say. Whitey's waiting night and day, night and day, night and day, night and day.
Alright, so there you have it. The King Alfred Plan in full effect, man. And if you don't believe it, just sit tight and you're going to see it for your own eyes. With your own eyes. Alright, so Lord willing, you was edified. Keep your eyes open. Now we're in that time where we're coming into that danger zone. And may Yahweh Shai protect all those who truly believe, as opposed to some who don't believe in the name, who used to believe in the name but don't believe in the name. And it's going to be a bad situation for a lot of you Jakes out there, man. It's going to be real bad. Alright, so with that, until the next lesson, I say Shalom.